strength and how best to utilize it.
And so you're saying weakness might not necessarily be weakness, but it can be a superpower that needs to be used in the right way.
That's a possibility as well.
Okay. All right, we're getting there. Even the attitude, insights, and ideas of members depend on group dynamism. For example, a negative thinker can be converted to a positive thinker with the help of the facilitator. You agree? There are some stubborn people. This is what I know, and you can't sway me. But they being in a group, sometimes the discussion or the task at hand, based on what is to be done, the person who might not be in favor, or there might be some area of some duties that persons are not, it's not the favorite thing to do. So they tend to procrastinate on these things if they were doing it by themselves. So if they're in a group and it's something that they really don't fancy doing, the stronger ones, the positive ones, would be able to, or the leader should find some kind of way to draft that person into the holistic plan. Not just to dismiss the person, to say the person is just bent in their own ways, but leaders must facilitate change behavior. Agree? Group dynamism can furthermore give job satisfaction to members. You think that is true? John Strong, you think that's true? If your mic is not on, remember that you have to turn your mic on.
Oh, please repeat what you were asking me.
Group dynamism can further give job satisfaction to the members. You agree with me?
Yes, I do agree. Because everyone's input is important. And we have to take into consideration all aspects of the group. As you say before, some persons may remain quiet, but the leader has a responsibility to, get to know each group member better and to have probably a one-on-one.
That's right.
So that they can hear what is happening to this group member. Why is it that this group member is always, so quiet? Sometimes it's fear and all of that. And, that is a weakness that probably the group leader can help them to overcome. Not everyone likes to talk out, but at the same time, they will perform effectively. So I do think that's a positive.
Agree, James?
I do.
So how can group dynamism reduce labor unrest? Tell me, James, what you think?
Well, it can allow persons to understand the direction of the group. So what you find is that a lot of the unrest usually occurs when persons don't believe they're listened to. They don't believe they're paid for the contribution that they think
they're making.
Yeah, and you find out in sometimes with good dynamics in a group, persons might understand that not all the time is a financial or, it can be a part that make them more comfortable, or just listening to them. As we were talking, you were mentioning earlier about a dissatisfied group member or somebody with a bad attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Usually they might be ignored or even
Right.
told to shut up. However, they can be used as an acid test for any idea the group brings to the forefront.
Exactly.
As them said, you can use them to pick the problem out of the solution
That's
and
right.
maybe allow you to acid test it before it moves on to the next level.
Right. Because you have some persons within groups, it doesn't matter what you come up with as a team. They are the ones to say it can't work. However, I often tell my team, if you're going to tell me that it can't work, come up with some other solution. Just don't tell me that it can't work. So the labor unrest, it could also cause members to feel some form of emotional attachment and would want to remain with the group rather than to leave. As you said earlier, James, that if they feel like they are being heard and their input, they might not see their input just as a dollar value, but when they're heard, and sometimes they can see where their suggestion was added and implemented, they might feel inclined to remain with the group. So stages in team development, not going to linger on this one. Forming, storming, norming, performing, adjourning. And I will not assume, I'm going to say it. Any aspect of this stage can be disrupted even when the team is doing well. So the team can be performing and something happen and they go back to storming. And then they build again and come back to performing. So managers are to be alert to identify where the team members are in the team development stage. Let me give a little breakdown, as you can see. So, Gooden, you want to run through for me quickly? Forming.
All right. Forming. A little agreement, unclear purpose, guidance and direction. Right?
Storming.
Storming. Conflict, increased clarity of purpose, power struggles.
Norming.
Agreement and consensus, clear roles and responsibility, facilitation.
Performing.
Clear vision and purpose, focus on goal achievement and delegation.
Adjourning.
Hold on. Yeah, 1 second. I have a little issue with my phone.
Task completion, let me help you. Task completion, good feeling about achievement, recognition, and then the team starts over with a new assignment.
Okay.
What is what is team approach? This is a style of project management in which everyone on the project is held equally responsible for the quality and success of the output, whether it's product or services. Each member within the team must recognize that members cannot operate independent or in isolation for the team to be successful. That is one thing that each member should know. So leaders are to ensure that this is very clear. As they say, there's no I in team. It's a cliche that is said over and over, but really and truly, there really is no I. And I'm not speaking literally regarding the word. If you're in a team, the only time probably you would be like a part-time I is if you're given a particular task to be completed, but at the same time, you would still need to consult with your group to see if you're on the right track as it relates to what the other team members are doing. Agree with me? The persons must be willing to switch roles when the need arises and remain focused on the success of the end results. So how can you get persons to switch roles? Brown, Derek?
Well, cross training.
That's right.
You can also encourage persons. Well, once there is a clear communication of the end goal or end result, then people will be more inclined to switch roles so that they can achieve the end result.
Right, because if one member, like the cross training, if one member of the team has to be absent for whatever reason, it should be that leaders would have put in place some form of succession kind of thing within the team. So you'd cross-train persons once they have the aptitude and willingness and is also able to learn. Willingness is very important. Then you as the leaders should be able to work on the superpowers and see which team members fit where and who can also fill the gap if someone else should be absent. And that is where the switching of roles come into play, so the team can continue to function if one or two members have to be out for whatever reason.
Right, and leadership should facilitate it too.
Yes. Productivity. Read. Miss Caroline, you want to read that for me, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
Productivity, a measure of economic performance that compares the amount of goods and services produced, output, with the amount of inputs used to produce those goods and services.
Right. So, James, you want to give me your interpretation of this? Another way to say it?
That compares the amount of goods and services. Productivity is basically just a measurement of how much work you put in and what you got out of it. And I'm not using it to the analogy of the group.
Right.
Did the group achieve its purpose for the work done by its members?
Agreed. So it's basically the amount of work you put in and the amount of raw material you use to get it done.
So how does that compare to efficiency, or what does efficiency plays in it?
You can tell me if you know.
Well, I just want to, I want to know if there's a difference between productivity and efficiency, because it's both of them measuring in terms of input and output.
Efficiency and productivity goes hand in hand.
Can they be used interchangeably?
Yes, they can. They can, because if it is that you have a team and you have a particular task to be done, the team can do the job and when you look at what it costs to obtain the objective, if you realize that it costs way more than what was budgeted, then I would probably think that it's not, the team wasn't really efficient. Yes, the job was done, but too much resources was used up to complete the task. However, if it is that the task was completed and the whatever resources were needed to be used were used in a way where you even have things remaining, then you could say the team was efficient and productive.
So,
You agree?
so we would have heard recently the statement made by the BOJ governor about cautioning employers about granting large increases to employees. And when persons hit back at him, when the whole of protests, especially from the unions, he countered that, or he came back and said, there is nothing. If you increase compensation, and that is then accompanied by increased productivity, then that's fine.
Fine.
Okay.
But
So,
if you increase compensation,
which is input,
and at the end of the day, you are not getting dollar value,
right?
then the team wasn't efficient.
Right. Okay. Right. So that's all both of them are using that context.
Yes, that's
Thank you.
right.
So
Is it
Miss,
as simple as that though? Because I don't think it's as simple as that.
Go ahead now. We're having a discussion.
I mean, you have to look at the different variables that might be contributing to that, because we always want to produce more
Using less, yes?
using less resources. And then we also have to think about the end product that you're going to get as a result of that.
Because we still need quality.
Exactly. And oftentimes, producing something cheap, you don't necessarily going to get quality.
No.
So you have to strike a balance. You have to really look at what, and that's what is happening into our, especially in our society today. We want maximum productivity. We want a cost-effective method